who have contributed and made this this kickoff successful so that we can move forward with the state superintendent run. It's really appropriate that there are so many people from Holy Trinity, my church here, because that's really how I got started in this work. You can really trace a direct line back from about 22 years ago. Actually, I followed, where's Steve? Steve. I followed Steve as our financial secretary at our church, and then from there I went on to become a member of the church council, and from there I was asked to do Justice United and our social justice ministry with our church. And it was in Justice United that I learned to organize and to work with people from all sorts of communities, to listen and build relationships with people who have needs to make the world a better place, and then take that and turn it into community power to make a difference, to work with elected officials on how to make things better. I did find that Justice United was a little limiting, particularly when it came to our schools. It was really difficult to make change from the outside in our school systems. Just a lot of pressures on the school system, and advocating from the outside was really hard. So I chose to run for school board in 2011, and have spent the last 8 years continuing to work with communities, to have conversations with teachers in particular, to make sure that we're making policies that work for everybody, making policies that make a difference for teachers, provide them the respect that they need that we're not always getting from the state. Oh, I should also thank, we have teachers here, Kristen Walker's here, Kate Callenberg's here. Thank you all for your work with our students every day. I really, really appreciate that. It is, so now I have the opportunity to go on to the state level and continue to do the same things I've always been doing, to work with teachers, to work with on policy changes that don't have to even cost money, but can help bring back respect for our teachers. I also, in addition, have a management experience professionally. Michael's here. Michael and I used to work together at IBM, so he can attest that I'm used to managing large bureaucracies. That's kind of what we do.
Effective ones.
Effective ones, yes. And so when we talk about the job of state superintendent, that's a large part of what it is. It is a department of public instruction of over 1,000 people that need to deliver services to our schools across the state, in terms of standards, in terms of help with curriculum, in terms of support for low-performing schools, in terms of making sure that we even get teachers licensed. Kate's going through that process, or will go through that process shortly, so she appreciates that. And it is work just from a management perspective that's really critical to make sure that we can be effective in serving kids around the state. But it's also a policy job. It's a policy job that works with the State Board of Education to make sure that we have equitable funding practices, that we're serving kids across this. We have a limited amount of money, obviously. How do we take that money and we use it equitably across the state to make a difference for kids? It's the same thing we've been doing on the school board for 8 years, particularly the 2 years that I was chair, in terms of working with funders. In terms of the local school board, I work with the county commissioners and get local funding. And as state superintendent, I will advocate for our schools with the General Assembly. It's certainly something that's missing today. That advocacy for our public schools is not part of what we see out of Mr. Johnson, but I will make sure that happens. And then just building respect for teachers has got to be a part of everything that we do. And so I think I have the skills to do all those various pieces of work. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of really critical pieces that need to be, but we do have the possibility in North Carolina. When I was in school in the 80s in particular, Governor Hunt was pushing us forward to be the best education, certainly in the Southeast, but also be one of the best in the country. We have the data that show that we were getting there. We were showing growth in various national and international measures. North Carolina has the possibility to really be a leader in education. I believe that very much, and I know that we can get back to to doing that. It's going to take work though from all of us. This is work that it's not about one person in a state superintendent job. It is about working and having relationships across the state to make sure that we're doing what's best for kids and all pulling together. That relationship work is key to what needs to happen, and it starts here, right? It starts with from a campaign perspective, making sure that we've got the resources to be able to do the work, to build those relationships through the next year. The primary will be March 3rd of next year, which seems like a long way off, but there's a lot of ground to cover between now and then, and I appreciate all of your support. For those of you who have contributed, thank you for your contribution to pay for my gas mileage and that kind of thing. But also for those who haven't, we certainly welcome additional contributions, either by check today or go online at any time and make a contribution. And we also appreciate your time. We appreciate your time and your amplifying of the message to get out and talk to everybody that you know, because this does have to be a network of people working together to make a difference for our kids. So I appreciate you. I'm happy to answer a couple of questions if people have quick questions, or we can get back to the food, which was.